Welcome to another edition of Clean Pin. Wow, it's been a while since I've done Clean Pin wrestling kind of video cast podcast, and just want to jump back in. Been doing some wrestling clips here and there. Do a lot of sports. Life sometimes just gets in the way, right? Where you try to be consistent, and sometimes it just does not work out that way. But just wanted to give you some of my thoughts here on. And I'm doing this for my phone, so hopefully it looks good. Um, Wanted to do it from my desktop, but by the time loading that up, I thought it might just be a little bit quicker, just easier doing it this way from my phone. But I hope all is well, and do want to do WrestleMania predictions, night one and night two, just to get in it quickly. So, give you a quick rundown. So, here we go. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. This is very interesting. The favor. The build of this match, right, has been around a favor. And now Seth Rollins wants a favor from Paul Heyman. So, what is this favor? We know that CM Punk, what he wanted his favor to be, is he wanted Paul Heyman in his corner. And he wanted CM Punk in his corner. Paul Heyman wanted CM Punk in his corner, and that's what we have in his corner. And he is not going to be there with his tribal chief. He's going to have to leave his tribal chief. I'm sure he'll be there in spirit. And the wise man, how much does the wise man play in Roman Reigns' strategy? Roman Reigns is going to be uncomfortable in this match, right? It's going to be very uncomfortable. He's used to having his wise man there, and his wise man is not there. CM Punk is finally celebrating being the main event at WrestleMania. The main event at WrestleMania. And there is Seth Rollins, just laughing away. CM Punk this, CM Punk that. Was even jealous that CM Punk, no fair that he gets his WrestleMania. Why does he get his WrestleMania? How is that fair? What would he do? And what is that favor that Seth Rollins wants from CM Punk? It's going to come down to this. I think what you're going to have for the main event of this first night, you're going to have something that's going to be a surprise. Now, it's almost too obvious. It's almost too obvious to have what CM Punk just walk out with Paul Heyman. Are you going to have Paul Heyman go back to Roman Reigns? It's kind of what you expect. Are you going to have, what's going to be that element of surprise? And I think what's going to happen here is, Seth Rollins has been getting the short end of the stick as far as his matchups against CM Punk, against Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins is at a level, but he's not at that level of a CM Punk, of a Roman Reigns. That star power is there, but it's not at that level. And I think that's where WWE, they want to get him there. They want to get him to that level. Best way to do that, the best way to build up that credibility is, I think you're going to see Seth Rollins leave with Paul Heyman. That's what I think is going to happen. You're going to have them leave together. Where does that go? I mean, I don't know. Is that something that you would love to see, that you would love to see close out night one to get the wrestling world talking? Maybe you have, dare I say, maybe a Brock Lesnar come out as well and just run destruction on CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Because remember, Brock Lesnar, his contract is frozen. It's not a free agent. His contract was frozen, meaning they're going to stop. It's not running. It just stopped. The time stops on it. And then it starts once they ask him to come back. So they didn't let him go. And I think this might be the perfect opportunity to get Brock Lesnar back into the fold, into the storylines. It's going to be interesting. But I do expect something big to happen with that. Heck, let's just put it out there on the line. I think that it's going to be Seth Rollins winning with Paul Heyman going out with Seth Rollins at the end of the day. And this is not by, and he does this by choice. Clearly, it will be seen that it's by choice, not that it's by kind of forcing of any sort. So you will definitely see, I think, Paul Heyman, something big. Or I could be wrong, but I think something big involving Paul Heyman is where we're going. And possibly even maybe Brock Lesnar returning back. No particular order either. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. At first, I thought the build for this was lackluster. Tiffany just really seemed to be completely out of her element. It just completely seemed that Charlotte Flair was just levels and worlds above her. I don't think that the WWE really thought how it happened, how the reception for Charlotte was really not what they expected. Remember, Charlotte was coming off of this horrible injury. She was gone a very long time, and I think WWE expected that she would be with open arms, that she would be recepted with open arms, and it just did not work that way at all. Quite the opposite. I think where the problem was is a lot of fans, once they saw her in the Royal Rumble and that, where she was in that Royal Rumble, they knew that she would win, and which she did. And I think that was part of the problem with the reception. Kind of like, oh, you haven't been here for a long time, and now all of a sudden you're just getting this victory. Had they introduced Charlotte a little bit earlier and they seen her go through the struggles and kind of you building up to that point of being in the Royal Rumble, going through the trials and tribulations before that, I think the reception might have been a lot more different for Charlotte than just kind of the booze and everything else that she's getting, because they think that everything's handed to her in the fans. But I think with Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton, the storyline picked up where this is probably one of the matches that everyone is wanting to see, and that really just turned around with the personal jabs at each other, whether it was by accident or design. It got people talking, and then you had the social media, because there is social media. You add that in with what they filmed happening in the parking lot, it just all added into this. And there was personal attacks on that SmackDown. Remember, that's kind of where you would say that the tide changed, and you almost thought that Tiffany kind of is on the level of Charlotte. Now, listen, whether it was staged, whether it was off the cuff, that is the beauty of it, right? That's the whole magic. But there were a lot of aspects in that promo on SmackDown that you remember where it was about Ashley, the person, and not Charlotte, the character. When Tiffany threw that line out, where 0-3 as far as your marriages, that stung, and that definitely caught Charlotte off guard. But she throws out a line like, Kaiser in my DMs. Jeez. How about that? That's when it really picked up. So I think here we are, right? And Charlotte, Tiffany, I think it's going to be a very memorable match. I think it's going to unfold where you see, geez, my eyes are bothering me. You're going to see why Charlotte, even after all this time not being in the ring, coming back from injury, why she is the person that sets the bar. I think it will be a match where we will see Charlotte Flair winning, and that's going to make the crowd really, really upset. But I see that happening. And then Tiffany chasing the title, which will help Tiffany being built up to even a greater baby face, because it doesn't look like she's that comfortable being baby face yet. I know it's probably something new. I'm sure when they had penciled this match in initially, they said to themselves, Charlotte Flair is the face, Tiffany Stratton is the heel. But that seemed to have flip-flopped just based on the reaction for Tiffany. So I think they're going to want to make her a stronger character, have her chase Charlotte. I think Charlotte will win the title. Jey Uso and Gunther, it's almost like a tale of David and Goliath, right? The little guy versus the big, huge monster. And, we seen Jey Uso last on TV. And I really wish that he would have been a lot more kind of serious kind of, now he wasn't really all smiles and jump up and down last time we see him, but he was still doing the Jey Uso, the yeeting. But he had a little mean mug on him, still doing the yeeting. I would have loved just the seriousness again from Jey Uso. Have that 2 weeks in a row. Right? Have that seriousness like he did when he had that confrontation about what he's going to do to Gunther. I would have loved to see a confrontation like that again. That way, Gunther would really know that he has to fear him for his matchup at WrestleMania. Right now, I don't think that Gunther really takes him serious, right? He's, he considers him like a fly in the wall and he just wants to swat at him. I just see this, David Van Goliath. Let's be honest, I think that this title reign, nothing to do with his character work, but his title reign has not been as impressive as it was, with his prior championship. What was that? The Intercontinental. When he had the Intercontinental Championship, it was a lot more impressive than his current run as WWE champion. Again, no fault of his own, does what he's given to him. I don't think it's been as strong as memorable. I see, Jey Uso winning this. I don't see Jey Uso holding this title, forever. Not a long time. But I see Gunther taking the L on this, and he's didn't expect Jey Uso to come out firing like he did that first night at WrestleMania. I'm going to do this video in 2 parts. You're going to have night 2 tomorrow night predictions. War Raiders versus New Day. The New Day, right? The New Day against the War Raiders. Hey, look, they changed up the War Raiders. They're a little bit different now. Their look is a little bit different. Big dudes that do high impact moves. I get it. But I just cannot get into them. I don't know what it is. New Day, with this character change, I would have wanted them to kind of lean into this New Day, this New Day tag team a little bit more. They're just kind of were doing it, and then they stopped. I don't know why. Really, nothing. It just kind of went blah, kind of cooled down. I think you're gonna see the War Raiders return. It's really, to me anyway, it's like a sink or swim with the War Raiders at this point, and they need to see something for them. Having them with a longer tag team reign, I think, would be something that would benefit. That would definitely benefit the War Raiders. So I see War Raiders winning against New Day. You're gonna have Knight versus LA Knight, yeah, versus Jacob Fatu. Look, LA Knight still very popular, still gets reactions, but they have cooled him down substantially. Remember that he's on his second reign as U.S. champion. Lost it the first time to Shinsuke. Look, he's cooled down, but he still gets his reactions. Everyone's saying his tagline, which is good. At least they're showing that they care, but I mean, besides the tagline, what is there behind LA Knight? I mean, it's he's cooled down. They've cooled him down substantially in LA Knight. Going up against Jacob Fatu, who's been having some conflict with his brethren from the former bloodline. They've been kind of just interfering with their nose, sticking their nose where it don't belong. And I think that's ultimately where we're going. I think LA Knight retains, and I do think that Jacob Fatu will then be in some type of conflict after he loses his match by interference from Solo Sikoa. And I think that's where we're going to branch off next. They're going to separate Jacob Fatu from LA Knight, have him go up against Solo Sikoa. I think, this bloodline storyline is all but done, honestly. And, Jacob Fatu, man, gets some reaction. That boy could move. Definitely all gas. It'll be interesting to see where they go. I do think that it will branch off to Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. All right, Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Naomi is finally a heel here in the WWE. Finally, I think this is where she could shine in Naomi. This is where I think her best work. That promo that she had a few weeks ago in Naomi is probably the best work that she's done since she's come back to the WWE. Build on that, Jade Cargill, new now, coming back from injury, relatively new still. I think she needs that victory to make the fans remember who she is and Jade Cargill. But I think this loss would not hurt a Naomi, because this all just plays into, the character that Naomi is portraying about how she's screwed and how it's never fair, so on and so forth. So I do see Jade Cargill picking up this victory against Naomi. Rey Mysterio versus Grande Americano. Listen, Grande Americano is Chad Gable. We know that. Look, I particularly don't understand why we're doing Grande Americano versus, not Chad Gable. Why we're doing two characters at once. So Mick Foley did three characters at once. We had Ezekiel Elijah. That was something too. I don't know. Yeah, I just, I don't. I I don't get the point of Grande Americano. It's funny, well, because it has all the same. It's like, how do you not know it's Chad Gable? Chad Gable has been playing up that he's been sick for a couple of weeks with his doctor's notes, and here we are, El Grande Americano. I don't know. This is a toss up for me. Um, let's go with Grande Americano. So the first night predictions: Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, Charlotte Flair, um, Knight, and New Day versus the War Raiders. I think the War Raiders win. New Day is still not so new, still like the same. Really, they haven't, 'cause it seems like they've been kind of stuck in mud or forgotten about. Just my honest opinion. Last match: Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. I think this is going to be a match where the newcomer learns a lot from an L. So give me Rey Mysterio with the win over El Grande Americano, Chad Gable. So that is night one. I hope all is well. I'll do a separate video for night two. Please do subscribe. I hope all is well, and I look forward to speaking to you guys very, very soon. This was your WrestleMania Night 1 predictions. Until next time. So, again, we're bidding you adieu. Let's see, where was the out button here? Sorry. All right, let's see.